to our channel Lightling Vision. Today I'm in company of Mother. Welcome, Mother.
Thank you.
Mother is an incredible person who has devoted her life to the well-being of the humankind. She has written several books, and today she will share with us her knowledge on a subject that we don't really talk too often about this, spirituality. So I will ask you, Mother, today, so what is the place of spirituality in the modern world?
That is a huge subject. And at the same time, for many people, perhaps something they never think about at all. To understand this subject, something like that, you again have to look back in history. How have we come in modern society to the point that you see more and more people, even if it is still a minority, more and more people being interested in spirituality, and in what way are they interested? Whereas on the other side you also see, and this is a movement that you will see at the same time happening, there are many people that are a bit afraid of it, that they ask themselves, well, what is this? And we try to get rid of the church. Why should we have these spiritual movements now coming up? Because we don't need them. So to understand this kind of movement in society nowadays, you have to look back, as I already said. And then you will see that what we call religion or spirituality, in fact, was something, as we might say, completely natural for man up to perhaps 150 years ago. You can see that believing in something, and I already said it in other videos, believing in something that transcends man was completely natural for humanity up to, let's say, 150 years. You could go to a church, and many did, or not. But the fact that there was something of a divine intelligence or a creator was normal for everybody. There were not many people who would have put that in doubt, who would have doubted about that. Now you see from 150 years ago on, or you can say 200 years, it's you can take it large, but you see that with intellectual development, science that comes up, but what's more important, man starts reasoning, thinking, or living in his head more and more. What was before an understanding of the heart, an intuitive feeling, became a question mark. So this natural, intuitive feeling that there is a force in this universe that goes above man, that gives a sense to our existence. This reality, that this was a reality for man for many thousands of years. This was an intuitive feeling, a knowing that was not situated in the head, in the brain. And that became a question mark with the development, and that's quite recent, the last 150 years, with the development of intellectual thinking and science. Suddenly there was something else coming up in man, and that was in the mental, on the mental level, in the intellect. Yes, but why are we here? Or, God, I've never seen him. Does he exist? This is a children's tale. This is a story. Now you also have to understand that in the name of religion, many errors have been committed in the past. That's to say that priests, priesthood, clergy, they have very often been dominating people, other people, in the name of God, bullying other people what they should or should not do, making them scared with the devil and paradise and or going to hell. That was a real problem. I mean, if we accept that other people dominate us in the name of God, I will certainly be the last person on earth that will think that that's a good thing. It is not. But that does not mean for me that a divine intelligence does not exist. It's not because man, in his ignorance or his being unconscious of consequences of his acts, of his actions. It's not because man abuses of his power that what he's abusing of doesn't exist, is not a reality anymore. For me, seeing nowadays so many people with this big question mark, living in tremendous fear and anxiety, is not better than what we found in the past as the terror that was provoked by clergymen. I mean, now, if we are very honest, man nowadays has the same fears, to the same extent, perhaps even more, and still says, yes, but I don't want to go back to the ancient situation anymore, which is what you can very well understand. But man does not see at the same time that in fact nothing is solved, because it's still the same fear. Man nowadays is afraid of life, is afraid of the insecurity of life, of everything that can happen at any moment. We have no control over it. And most of all is afraid of death. Because death, that's a tremendous problem nowadays. Even if many of us do not want to think about it, unless we are in front of the door, we are very old and we know that one day we will go through the door of death. But before that moment, we prefer not to think about it because it's very scaring. What will be afterwards? Perhaps nothing. But that's terrible. The void. Well, this fear is in every human being nowadays. But we try we try to avoid it. We don't look at it. We laugh. We reason to give us a good consciousness. But it's reality. And as I already said, this problem for me is not better or worse than what we had in the past with the priests and all those religious people that told us what to do and not to do. And if I go one step further, I think that the domination of the priesthood in the past has been taken over by other groups that are dominating us nowadays to get rid of our fears. By the financial world, by the medical world. And that's where we seek nowadays our security. In exactly the same way as in the past we did it. Near the clergyman, we said, well, tell us about after that, will I go to hell or to paradise? Now we go to the doctor, but we have the same questions in another way. Am I sick or am I not sick? Will I die or won't I die? That's what we ask the doctor. In many ways, but that's the question. So I think nothing has changed, to be very honest. But we think that we are independent and strong and there's no problem. Well, I think there is, because many people are sick. And one of the industries in the world that is earning the biggest amount of money nowadays is the medical industry. So then you know what it's all about. But if the majority of us chooses for this path or this solution, well, I won't put it into question, but that's the way it is. But if you ask me, what does spirituality have to do in modern world? Is there a task for spirituality? Or better, is there a real solution? I would say, I think yes. But then you have to change your vision on man and on life. I already talked about this. And perhaps you have to be ready for that. I can very well understand that many people find their freedom in total dependence on pills, doctors, and their bank account. For them it's freedom, for me not. But we can't discuss that. So I was one of those persons who has sought freedom on another level. And I can tell that it works. Otherwise I wouldn't sit here. But I also know that others will see this in a different way, and I respect that. I just don't want to live in their shoes and have their fears. That's the difference. Now, to come back on your question, I think that one of the reasons a minority for the moment in this world seek spirituality is because those people feel that this world doesn't give you any security or solution, and they seek their solution elsewhere. And then we come in another then we have to face another difficulty, because what is the price we want to pay on the spiritual path to have one day, to really have results? Because there's one thing, those who do not believe in that kind of solution, those who do not believe in spirituality, they might reproach the spiritualists that in fact they are still enjoying many advantages of the material world, and they just have one more pretension. That's to say, being spiritualists. And that's what I would like to talk about in the next video. What the materialistic world nowadays reproaches to the spiritualists is that they are so-called dealing with their spirituality, but mainly they're still making use or even abusing of all the material advantages of this world in the eyes of the materialistic thinking persons. The spiritualist is enjoying all the material advantages and just does a bit spirituality even more in his life. I mean, spirituality is something like a little extra, a nice little extra. But very rarely I've seen spiritually engaged people being taken serious by materialistic thinking people. Because, and there is some truth in it, because those people say, yes, I see you, You go to your yoga class, you read the books about spirituality, you read the books about masters such and so. But for me, you're nothing more, nothing has changed. You're exactly like me with just your books on the shelves. And I think that's the problem in the modern world with spirituality. In fact, we have not found, the majority of us, the path towards a serious kind of spirituality. And that's what the reproach is, and I think it's justified.
Thank you, Mother. That was the first part of what the spirituality has to do in our modern world. So Mother will continue with part 2 in the next video. So please subscribe so you don't miss it, and also go and watch the other videos that are really absolutely eye-opening. And we will look forward to seeing you in the next video. So have a good day.
We are always asking so much more. We are always hoping Santa's at our door. We behave like children, captured in a game of give and take, in which we calculate the income of the day. Yes, we are like little drops in oceans full of water, and all we care about is quenching our own thirst. Just try to look around and see what's flowing so abundantly. There is enough to share, so why do you not dare? We're always demanding, think it is our right. Many expectations, all is on our side. We never ask the question, what do others need that we can give? We're simply too afraid the bill will not be paid. We change our vision of what's good for us and others, living by the truth. Can't we build a world of peace, trust and generosity, in which the best of every soul is given to the whole? Yes, we are like little